Great. So I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. Let's start with approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the agenda?
Can I strike ASRF and TGMF?
Can you strike SWC Programming Fund, please?
Can we strike Bruin Advocacy Grant?
Can we strike capital contingency, please?
Could we strike SFS, please?
Any more amendments? Okay, if there are no more amendments to the agenda, a motion.
I motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Awesome. Sachi motions, Jonathan seconds. IVP,
Yes.
EVP,
Yes.
Gen Rep 2,
Yes.
Gen Rep 3,
Yes.
AAC,
Yes.
BEC,
Yes.
CAC,
Yes.
CSC,
Yes.
FAC,
Yes.
FSC, no, wait, so he was SWC,
Yes.
TSR, ISR. I don't think. Okay. By a vote of 10 to 0 to 0, the motion passes and the agenda is approved for this week. What about, okay, approval of the minutes? Has everyone gotten a chance to see those? If so, I think they were from November 10th.
I motion to approve the minutes from November 10th, 2020.
I second.
Emily motions, Jonathan seconds. IVP,
Yes.
EVP,
Yes.
Gen Rep 2,
Abstain.
Gen Rep 3,
Abstain.
AAC,
Yes.
CEC,
Yes.
CAC,
Yes.
CSC,
Yes.
FAC,
Abstain.
SWC.
Yes.
By a vote of 7 to 0 to 3, the motion passes and the minutes from last week are approved. Okay, moving on to public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to address council on whatever matters they find necessary or pertinent. Just a reminder to use gender inclusive language when giving your public comment. Keep it to 2 minutes. And also, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. So yeah. Oh, and attack the idea, not the person. So if you want to give public comment, what we'll do is you can raise your hand. Then you will be promoted to a panelist, and then you'll have to raise your hand again because I'm going to lose your hand once you enter the room. So we'll start with Kelsey. Go ahead, Kelsey, whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Naomi, and thank you so much, Council, for being here tonight and listening. So my name is Kelsey Dempsey, and today I wanted to express concern for the recent selection of the CAE director, and specifically how student voices, particularly disabled student voices, were disregarded in this decision. For too long, disabled voices have been disregarded, and especially when there are matters like CAE that directly affect them. And just putting their perspective first is really crucial, especially if CAE wants to make amends to their to their past. In the past, CAE leadership has fostered a culture of distrust and negative feelings, leading to a lot of students really losing faith in the current CAE leadership and also not like asking for accommodations. And as somebody who has requested these in the past, I've noticed just how unapproachable and rude CAE is to their students, and they're really out of touch with their students. And if CAE wants to foster meaningful relationships with their students and accommodate, that's what they're intended for, it really needs to listen to the student input and not just use student labor and time to interview the CAE director only just to check off a box and not even listen to them. CAE can't foster community building as it intends to, and if it can't even listen to students that they serve. And organizations like DSU, All Brains, and FAC have tirelessly worked to create inclusion and community for disabled students. And if CAE really wants to do this, they have to listen to student voices. So thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, have a good evening.
Thank you, Kelsey. Always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Go ahead, Palmer.
Yeah, so as you guys know, probably I'm gonna be giving a presentation later, but Alfred couldn't make it to give this comment, so he wanted me to just pop in, let you guys know that we are looking for one more graphic submission from all of you. There's like one more person who hasn't turned it in yet. I think we're gonna do the USAC highlight on our gram on week 8, and yeah, if you just don't mind sending over that last graphic, we'd love to get it so we can have everybody included, because right now we're just missing one. So probably know who you are. I might PM you after this and let you know in case you forgot. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Palmer. I hope it wasn't me. Okay. Go ahead, Quinn.
Hello there. My name is Quinn, and I am currently a USAC appointee to the University Committee on Disability. And beginning winter quarter 2020, before COVID, the CAE began a search for a new director. And due to the pandemic, the interview process was halted, but I believe they had already gone through the selection process and they had identified 3 finalists. So at the beginning of the summer, I was informed that the hiring process had restarted and myself and other disabled student leaders were to be included in the hiring process. About a month ago, after this prolonged 7-month hiring process at this point for the CAE director, we were asked to be a part of the interview process and provide our perspective in the hiring committee. We, of course, jumped at this opportunity to provide our perspective and took time out of our full-time student schedules to craft questions, attend interviews, take thorough notes, and schedule and attend meetings with the hiring committee to provide our recommendation. At the meetings, me and other student leaders expressed all of our opinions on the interviews, but expressed our extreme concern over one of the candidates who had a history of negative experiences with disabled students, and according to their interview, did not express any plans to significantly change the status quo. So after these meetings, the Office of Student Affairs dodged emails requesting a follow-up, mainly concerning other matters and collaborations between us. And then the next week at the University Committee on Disability meeting, a CAE representative announced that the person we did not recommend was hired. And students are extremely disheartened that this individual was hired and our voices were not heard and completely disregarded. We, as DSU, took many hours out of our packed schedules in a desire to advocate for our community, only to be completely disregarded and met with little to no transparency. We need, as disabled students, for Student Affairs to be advocating for us. And disabled voices are rarely heard on this campus, so we are now turning to you all to push for systemic change. This whole experience has completely discouraged me as a disabled student leader at UCLA trying to advocate for my community. And DSU is asking for your support in holding Student Affairs accountable for the harm they have done to our community. And let me be clear, my concern is less with this current director of the CAE, as we are optimistic that we can build a positive relationship with them. It is instead with the broader system of student affairs and their leadership within a university system that was not built for disabled students and further fails to admit any shortcomings on their part. Thank you all and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Quinn. Nick?
Hi, everyone. I was here last week to talk about our work to get out the vote, but this is Nick. I'm the board chair for CalPERG students, and I was running our New Voters project, but I'm now running our Hunger and Homelessness campaign. And this is Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. The Student Perks actually founded Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week in 1975 to raise awareness about the problems of hunger and homelessness in our communities. So this week, over 700 schools throughout the country will host events to raise money, educate the public, and advocate for solutions to the problem. Here at UCLA, we'll be raising over $500 for the LA Food Bank and generating phone calls into Senator Feinstein's office for a new COVID relief bill with aid for students, and hosting a lobby day with over 50 members of Congress to advocate for that COVID relief bill. And I'm gonna put my email in the chat in case you're interested in getting involved, or if you're hosting any events or efforts on these issues, we can also support and get involved.
Thank you, Nick. Kyle?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Kyle and I'm a student with a disability that would like to speak about institutionalized contempt at UCLA. I would like to talk about my experience with the Dean of Students and its subsidiary office, the ADA 504 office. I submitted a complaint to the Associate Dean of Students, who assured me that my complaint would be adjudicated under UCLA policy 230.2. They sent the complaint to the ADA 504 office, which is again overseen by the Dean of Students. The ADA 504 officer, because of incompetence and lack of supervision from the Dean of Students office, sent the complaint to the Staff Discrimination Office. I am a student, not a staff member. The staff office does not consider the Americans with Disability Act or Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act in its investigations. This means a lesser standard being applied to my complaint, which is direct discrimination. Removing the complaint from the Dean of Students' office in this case would assure that the university would prevail against me, finding no evidence of discrimination. In another matter, the ADA 504 officer, who is not a lawyer, said that my interpretation of the ADA was biased and incorrect because I had a disability, therefore invalidating my experience. The ADA 504 officer went on to quote, "The wrong section of the ADA that does not apply to public schools like UCLA, but one that applies to private schools. The Dean of Students and those working within the office are morally bankrupt. They spread bigotry, gaslight, intimidate, and threaten students who speak out. Protection of the university and the reputation of the Dean of Students is the primary function of the office, while the experience of minority students is discarded." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle, for sharing that. Sorry, Ada?
It's Ada. Hello, everyone. Thanks for opening up this space for comments. My name is Ada, and I'm a student at UCLA, and I also wanted to echo and reinforce what has just been said about the hiring process of the new CAE director. So I was also involved with the hiring process of the new CAE director, and it felt that the voices of students with disabilities and allies were greatly dismissed. When trying to involve student voices, it's important to not just give the illusion that students have a voice, but truly take student voices into account. This is really disheartening to see. I'd also like to bring up that many ideas have been brought to CAE. Oftentimes, these ideas are only briefly acknowledged, giving students the false hope that there will be change or that their ideas are being heard. However, in reality, there is no concrete action being taken. Such actions demonstrate that student ideas and concerns are not valid. Furthermore, I'd like to point out CAE Instagram comments are also off, thus suppressing students from being able to lodge complaints even through Instagram. Not having the comment function in general decreases any discourse surrounding disability. We need systemic change and would like to hold UCLA accountable for these actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Natalie?
Hi there, Natalie, she, her. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk. I am also here to speak about the recent appointment for the CAE director. I'm one of the founding members of DSU. I am on the UCOT as well, a recent appointment. And so I was also asked to participate in that process of hiring, which I was just really optimistic going into the process, was thrilled that students were being involved in hiring that's going to affect our needs immensely. And this was such a missed opportunity because we could have really changed the culture. I think CAE feels like a very inhospitable space for students. In my experience, it has not felt like they are my allies. I know every student I've talked to has had some kind of bad experience with the office. So this was such a missed opportunity, and it really felt like a performance by the administration. So yeah, we are not happy about this, but moving forward, I think something that could be really productive is having more official student involved oversight within CAE, having some more official, more accountability to our involvement and our voice. So thank you for your support. Hopefully we can have some more communication, because I know administration has not been returning emails. And as was mentioned, the CAE Instagram has comments turned off, and I messaged them and have not gotten a reply. So yeah, we'd love your support. Thank you so much for this space. I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing, Natalie. Prob.
Hi everyone, it's great to see you all again. I know it's been a very long time. For those of you who don't know me, or if you forgot who I am, my name is Prob. I'm a fourth year history major. I'm also the CalPIRG chapter chair. As you guys all know, CalPIRG is a statewide student org at 8 UCs that works to protect the environment, support basic needs, and get out the youth vote. I just wanted to give you guys all an update on what we've been up to this past week. Now that our work for the election is over, like Nick was saying, we've actually launched our other campaign work. Here at UCLA, we're working to make textbooks more affordable, address hunger and homelessness, and also commit UCLA to 100% clean energy sector-wide. And just this past weekend, we had our virtual fall statewide conference. We had more than 200 student leaders from all of our chapters the state sign up for that 2-day conference so we could debrief our new voters project, so we know how to do an even better job next election. And we also got training from experienced staff on more organizing skills, and also figured out how to drive our statewide campaigns forward so we can work together to have the most impact possible and just address those issues that matter the most to students. But yeah, overall, I just wanted to pop up and say, hey, I'm excited to be back here and to see you all again. Please do not hesitate to reach out for help with your efforts on campus. I would love to help. I'm going to drop my contact info in the chat, so don't be afraid to reach out.
Thank you. And I know Emily is reading public comment on behalf of someone who could not make it.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I'll start reading now. Hello, my name is Katie Bogue, and I'm a first year at UCLA. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I know that you're hearing from many disabled student leaders about the current situation with the CAE, and I hope to share a bit about my personal CAE experience in order to shed light on the need for better CAE management and ultimately dramatic change in the treatment of disabled students at UCLA within student affairs especially. As an incoming student at UCLA, I was excited at the prospect of college, a place with new freedoms, new ideas, and new people. Unfortunately, the endless months spent fighting with the CAE quickly destroyed any initial feelings of glee. Due to the extent of my disabilities, I immediately contacted the CAE when I was accepted to UCLA. I then spent the entire summer obtaining a plethora of medical documentation from multiple doctors and completing forms detailing my personal, physical, and emotional health. One would think that all of this work would pay off, right? Wrong. The CAE denied me numerous accommodations, stating that the school, 1, did not offer that type of accommodation, 2, I was simply expressing a preference, not a true need, or 3, my personal favorite, that my request was simply unreasonable. The back and forth lasted for months, with me expressing deep concern for my physical and emotional well-being, and the CAE responding with legal jargon and confusing rationale. Furthermore, CAE staff continuously behaved in rude and psychologically confusing ways, beginning sentences with "we hear you and we are listening," and then in the next breath, denying my lived experiences. Suffice it to say, I have not felt welcomed by UCLA admin or the CAE. While I have had the opportunity to file an official appeal with the CAE, I have yet to do so because, to be perfectly honest, I'm exhausted. This quarter has been manageable because most of my professors have accommodated me outside of the CAE through my own self-advocacy, or have already established policies that meet my needs due to the online learning format, i.e. recordings of lectures. But I am terrified for future quarters, especially when we return to campus. I'm asking USAC for help, not just for me, but for the disabled community at UCLA as a whole. We are tired of our needs not being met, and we're tired of being ignored time and time again by UCLA admin and the CAE. We need change so that when students like me enter UCLA, we feel welcomed.
Thank you, Emily. Would anyone else like to give public comment at this time? Okay, going once, twice. Awesome. We are concluding public comment at 7:26 p.m. Thank you to everyone who shared, and I'm sure maybe Sachi would want to go over this in her officer report, or maybe even myself, but we are meeting with Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon tomorrow. I have a bi-weekly meeting scheduled with him, and Sachi will be present to bring up this issue with the Vice Chancellor. So awesome. Moving on to contingency programming.
Hi, everyone. So this week, the total amount requested was $2,250.06, and then the total amount recommended is $1,794.78. And these are to 7 non-USAC entities and 1 USAC entity. Thank you.
I motion to approve the allocation of $1,794.78 to 7 non-USAC and 1 USAC entity.
I second.
Sachi motions, Jonathan seconds. IVP?
Yes.
EVP?
Yes.
Gen Rep 2?
Yes.
Gen Rep 3?
Yes.
AAC?
Yes.
CEC?
Yes.
CAC?
Yes.
CSC?
Yes.
FAC?
Yes.
SWC?
Yes.
Awesome. By a vote of 10 to 0, the motion passes, and the contingency allocations are approved for this week. Moving on to, I believe, ASRF allocations, Breeze?
Sorry, I struck the wrong thing.
Oh, I see. ARC then, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Promise.
Yeah, hi everyone. So we made an allocation. I don't know how to fully do this because this is our first one. But we had a hearing last week, and voted yes on making an allocation. I don't know if it's we can't make the allocation until it comes to council, right? Yeah, so I don't really know what to call it. But the requested amount is $323.95 for Grupo Folclórico for their Dia de los Muertos. And it's a consent item.
Yes. So does anyone have any opposition to this allocation? No? Okay. Seeing as there's no opposition, then Promise those allocations are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Great, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was scared.
Awesome. Okay. TGIF?
Yes, this week we had 2 applications and we decided to fund one of them for $436 to the Renewable Energy Association for their energy networking fair.
Awesome. Thank you for that report, Sachi. Okay, moving on to our next item on the agenda, we have the USAC Seat at the Table initiative. And this week we have Leila Kennedy. She's the president of the Black Business Student Association, and she's going to be giving us a quick little presentation.
Hello, everyone. As Naomi mentioned, I'm just going to start right. Yeah. Okay.
As Naomi mentioned, I'm the president of the Black Businesses Association. This year, I'm going to share a presentation. Just give me like 20 seconds to share it really quick. Oh, just kidding. I don't have screen sharing capabilities. Naomi, could you, or I don't know who's the host. Is that possible?
Fernando? Oh, we can't hear you.
You should be able to. Oh, wait. Let me see.
Oh, okay,
She's
I can.
a panelist. She should be able to share. Yeah.
I can. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm the president of the Black Business Students Association this year, which okay, is the premier Black professional organization on campus, and we basically do a lot of different events like professional development and mentorship, and different just career networking opportunities. And some of the companies that we've partnered with in the past are like Facebook, Accenture, JP Morgan. So a lot of different companies depending on the industry, because one of our goals is exposing students to various industries and companies and kind of helping them be able to get different job and internship opportunities. And also our mentorship program is with Anderson School of Business, their BDSA, and also different and various alumni. And kind of our goal is we serve various students from all different backgrounds, but our focus is to serve the needs of Black students on campus who are specifically business minded, since we don't really have a business major here at UCLA. So kind of being that avenue for students who are interested in pursuing business and giving them a network. And this is just some pictures from some of the events. The top right corner is now, since we're doing all virtual events, and some other events that we did last year. And then some of the events that we've had this fall, like towards the end, were like a recruiting event with Google. We did an event on the pharmaceutical industry. This upcoming week, we have an event with Pacific Western on the real estate industry that we are currently promoting for. And then we're going to do our last event, which is week 9, which is going to be just our end of the quarter general body meeting. And basically, we were coming to kind of present to you all today because we wanted to just kind of expand our reach and kind of maximize how we can reach students by just getting our name out there and promoting through various entities such as USAC, and also kind of get some ideas from you on how to better engage students in this virtual environment. And then lastly, potentially like partnering on an event in winter or spring on professional development, because I know a lot of students currently are like curious or interested in like trying to figure out what jobs and internships are available for after they graduate, especially since everything is virtual and a lot of the networking and recruiting events have been moved virtually or have been canceled and stuff like that. So doing something like that, potentially like a LinkedIn workshop or something to help students navigate the business world. And lastly, just if anyone is interested in connecting with us, you can scan this with your phone for like the link for our link tree, or you can follow us on Instagram at bdsa.ucla. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Leela. And that was really cool. How did you make that? That's not important. I'm sorry. Actually,
I can tell you, but basically you just go to like the internet, like Google, and it's like a QR reader or a QR creator, and you just put the link to whatever you want to create, and then it'll make it for you.
That's awesome.
I'll show you how to. I'll send it to you or something.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Leela? Or Leela, do you have any questions for us on the USAC side? No? Okay. And Leela, you're getting some good comments talking about clapping. So thank you for that presentation. You're more than welcome to stay for as long as you want, or you're also free to leave too, but thank you for giving that presentation. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. Okay, moving on to our next item, we have the About USAC presentation by Palmer.
Yep. Could you also add Mariah to the panel? She was going to help me out with this.
Yes. Oh, Alfred is here too. Should I promote him?
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if
he's
he
going to
wants
say
to be
anything, but
promoted. He's
yeah.
just watching.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so as you guys probably remember, hopefully, I'm on the election board. I'm the director of external relations. And so we're kind of looking to do a little, not so much a joint event, but a combined effort with the board, just kind of building into our whole fall goal of USAC awareness. I have some slides. I can go ahead and pull those up. Bam. Okay. It's not even the right thing. It's so not. Okay, here we go. So we got these slides going and I'm gonna present them. Okay. So yeah, we have our little info meeting. So this is like a kind of proposition that we have for you guys. We want to have you guys kind of get some slides together and maybe do an info meeting about USAC that's going to be open to the public. I can just get right into it. So yeah, basically here's a little overview, but we just want something to create some transparency on your guys' end, and then it will also kind of work for our efforts. I can also this is probably a better way to look at it, but yeah, so we're trying to promote some transparency. You guys can use this as an opportunity to recruit staffers. Like you're given that presentation, you can be like, okay, boom, this is what our office does. This is all the cool things we've done this year. Maybe you'd be interested in that, right? So because the public was going to be in attendance here, so that could help you guys recruit some things. Then for our goals, it's just going to be about building awareness as we move into the candidate recruitment season. That's kind of our goal for fall in general. And like I said in my confirmation, like I want you guys involved in that process. Definitely, like I want it to be a joint effort between people that have like had the seats before and people that are currently trying to like achieve that. And so I think that having your input in this whole process is going to be super beneficial. Then also, as I mentioned before, we're just trying to build that culture of informed and active students, right? So I think if we have more opportunities for transparency, more information going out there about USAC, it's going to get more people involved, more people feeling like, okay, maybe this is something that I'm into. Maybe this is something that I want to pursue. Yeah, you guys can also take this opportunity to show off some of your achievements for the year. I know you guys have been up to some cool stuff, so definitely would be a good thing to show that off a little bit. Okay, cool. Also, it's going to serve as a more engaging information source than our social media campaign, which I already talked about earlier, but like that's probably going to be dope. I think it's going to be fire, but I just think that having an in-person event at the same time to complement that would really help push that message along. And then yeah, last point here, students really deserve to know what their USAC fees are going to. That's like kind of a personal end on that, but yeah, I think it's good for just get that transparency through. Mariah, you want to read this next one?
Yeah, so we're kind of thinking somewhere between week 8 or 9, definitely before winter quarter starts, because that's when we'll be kicking up a candidate recruitment campaign. So we're thinking during or right before a weekly meeting to ensure that all of the council members are present. But we're definitely amenable to your input on that. We want to make sure that it's going to be easy for everyone to show up and participate. So yeah.
Yeah, and this is something that we also discussed with Emily a little bit. I know could be difficult getting everyone there and kind of getting a whole turnout from council if it's on just a random day. I know you guys are busy. I know you already do this several hour meeting every week. So I feel like if we just tack this on to something where you guys are already present for it, it would just be a quick 15, 20 minute, 25-minute presentation. And it's not really going to add that much time on top of your current workload. I can kind of get into the workload right here. So boom, we got some, like I would ideally it'd be everyone puts some slides in there, has their own kind of flair on it, puts their own personality into it. But I think Emily also mentioned there are already some slides made for information. If you guys are super swamped, I feel like you can just recycle those. And kind of some things that I felt like would be important to highlight. You can definitely, like, if you have anything else that you think would be beneficial, just some roles and responsibilities, accomplishments, like I mentioned earlier, pitch to recruit staffers. And so, yeah, continue on like what we would need from you guys if theoretically we could make this happen. It would just be attendance at the presentation, and then have you or a representative of your office be willing to deliver that presentation, and then building up to the event, which we were saying week 8, week 9. it would be about advertisements and just getting that through your offices, and then through the various newsletters going out through your offices. So I think that would be a big help if we do make this happen. Yeah, you want to just
So for some
Well-
final notes, we just want to make sure that, you know, we're working together as the elections board and USAC, and we think it could really benefit both of us, particularly because of our USAC awareness campaign. So we want to make sure that we're creating a more transparent student government overall. And this benefits us as the election board, but also USAC as a whole. And we were also kind of interested in recording the clips or maybe the whole meeting and then reposting on social media for those who couldn't be in attendance and circulating that as well after the meeting. And yeah, so we want to make sure that we're having a collaborative relationship between the elections board and USAC. And I think that this is a really good first step. So we want to get some feedback from you guys and see what your thoughts are on all of this. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. We're just kind of like, this is still in the works a lot. But I think just the main point in even getting this to happen would just seeing if you guys are on board and kind of getting your feedback and how we can make this actually function. So yeah, if you guys have any input on this, I would like to hopefully see like get a kind of a sense of who would be interested and who would be willing to like put some time in to make this happen, because that's really what we need from you guys.
Yeah, and if we can like fast track this in a kind of way, we could get this going next week, and we could start working on advertising and outreach for this this week as well. And for any of you those who are willing to collaborate on outreach for this project specifically, that would be really helpful as well.
Thank you all for the presentation. So council, do y'all have any thoughts? I know I have a few, so I'll start us off. And I'll start by saying that I think that this is a really awesome proposal. I have a few thoughts. I think one thing that's really important to be mindful of is turnout. It might be a little hard to garner turnout in this Zoom environment. We're seeing that like numbers are getting smaller and smaller for like the amount of people that participate, and we want to make sure we don't like over program. I still think that this is really important. I would also say next week is kind of a fast turnaround, unless, and I might have missed this from your presentation, so if maybe one of you all can clarify, does it mean that like all of our offices would present in 1 week, or would we break it up like week by week and have it that way?
Yeah, so ideally I was thinking, like you said, with turnout, like getting people here. I can address that first real quick. So that's why we were kind of thinking also to record it, because even if we have a turnout of like 3 people, 4 people, we have those recordings. You guys can use them for your social media, so we can use them for our social media push as well. And then we're going to have those information just like delivered by people. It's kind of something I mentioned is like, I wanted to have that like face-to-face discussion with people through Zoom, you know, the best we can. And I feel like if we had a recorded presentation like that, it would be better than just looking at slides on Instagram. And then you also were talking about, sorry, what was the second question?
Next week being like a tight turnaround, so maybe like pushing it to
Right.
unless you were trying to break it up and have like some people who don't feel that that's a tight turnaround present next
Right,
week.
yeah. So I was thinking to just have all the offices go on one day. It's just one event, and we're gonna just give everyone like 5 to 10 minutes. And I think probably like 5 minutes. And so then if you can just go through your like what your office does really quick in that time frame, I feel like it would just have more people, like attendance would be better for one event than being like, oh, here's a whole week of things and you need to come to all of them if you want this information. So it needs to be like one quick thing, and it's kind of like it will be like not only like a meet the board kind of event, but also just like the information, and then you can use that time for recruitment. But we would just have to keep it brief and just make sure that everyone sticks to like a certain amount of time. And then also, yeah, like no offense to gen reps, but like we could probably cut that into like one presentation where everyone can also give their accomplishments for individual offices. But like in terms of like duties of the office, it would be a pretty similar thing. So we could probably like cut that into like one segment. But yeah, also like no offense to gen reps or anything at all.
Yeah, and to address what you were saying about next week, I know there was a message in the chat as well about it being Thanksgiving week. If you guys think that poses a lot of a problem, we can do week 9 as well. Just the biggest priority is just making sure that everyone's going to be here, and that we can distribute the recording afterwards, even if attendance doesn't, match up to what we want it to be. So do you guys think week 9 would be better? Yeah? Okay.
council, maybe y'all can, oh, go ahead, Emily.
Okay, cool. We can do that.
Yeah, just really quick. Sorry, Sachi, I know your hand was up. I was gonna say I prefer week 9, and then I think we should also nail down when we wanted to do it, like either before USAC meeting or during.
Okay, yeah. So I'm open to either. I think that like I was talking with Emily before, you said that sometimes your schedules like fluctuate a lot for the meetings, and so that it could like it'd be hard to like give people an actual time to show up for the meeting depending on if you had like a special presentation that went first and like took up a lot of time for some reason. So we could either work around that and just like cut someone off and start our presentation at a certain time, or we could just do it before and just because it would be pretty quick and then we could just run through it and then you guys can get into your general meeting.
It's really up to, well, I feel like having it during a USAC meeting could potentially be a good idea, so it doesn't cut into our schedules already, but depending on how a conversation goes later, we might have a special presentation about the COVID contact tracing app next week. So can we like temperature check after like the conversation that we're gonna have later and then see? Because then that will determine whether we should do it like the hour before our USAC meeting or during the USAC meeting.
Yeah, I think as long as we have like a date finalized, then I think we can kind of base the actual time of the presentation on like how the slides are looking and how long that's going to take and like based off that, like you said, yeah.
Okay. So I'll let Sachi go first.
Yeah, I also would agree. Again, like I think that we kind of nailed down week 9, but also like not just for it being a quick turnaround, but for ensuring that it's like adequately marketed so that people like have been thinking about it for a while and have had time to maybe like plan in their schedules to attend if they want to attend in person. I would also say that like I definitely agree that social media slides are like not super engaging, but if we could have like multiple forms of summarizing the content of the event afterward, I think that would be really useful just because like I probably wouldn't go and like watch a Zoom recording depending on how long it was after the fact. And I know that there might be a lot of students that are really interested in going, but just like literally cannot make the time because that's how students work. So I trust you all to come up with creative ways to kind of do that, but I would just like emphasize to try and find some way to like keep spreading the information like after the event happens. And then I had 2 questions. So specifically for the event, like what kind of, I mean, I know that you all haven't gotten deep into the planning yet, but what kind of Zoom safety measures will you all be taking just to make, if it's going to be a separate Zoom than council, just to protect everyone that is presenting?
Yeah, I think that just doing it in this similar general format, I don't know how many problems you guys have had with these kind of meetings, but I was thinking it would be a similar thing with just a panel, and then we could just, it would like, ideally I would combine all the slides into one presentation and we just have someone going through them, and then whoever is talking can just do the same thing. I think it would run a lot like a meeting. Yeah, that'd probably just be the best bet in terms of security.
Cool. Oh, Naomi, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead, you can.
Okay, well, I was gonna move on to another question. So if you like, okay, cool. Yeah, so my next question is like broader, I think for like the entire initiative. Obviously I know as a council member that this does not represent like what people might call or interpret as like council e-board collusion. Like I know that that is not what this is. I know that this is e-board trying to publicize what USAC is in order to inform the public, but I can 100% see how I guess like e-board collaboration with USAC, like even that word, even though I know that that's not what it is, I can see how that it could come off that way. So I was just wondering, like, I guess how or if you all plan to like combat that narrative and just like ensure that students know that this is very clearly like just an engagement event to inform students what USAC is, as opposed to like e-board and USAC like being the same entity.
Yeah, I'm thinking that me personally or Alfred probably wouldn't even talk at all at this event. I think it would really just be about you guys. I think if anything, if we did say anything, it would just be like, oh, this is USAC, here it goes. And then you guys would just get into it. So I don't think it's really going to be like the only the collusion would be just us advertising for it on our social media page, but we already have so much information about USAC on there. I don't think it's going to be any different than like criticisms we already received from that, which I haven't seen any. So I'm not sure that's going to be a huge deal as long as like me, Alfred, or Mariah aren't really on there super buddying up and acting like we frequently work together on sketchy things. So I think it will be fine.
Yeah, and I think also because especially during the presentation and like the face of this stuff, like the elections board they're not really going to see much of us, kind of like Palmer said. So I hope that's not too big of a concern, but I don't think we're particularly worried about it because it's also just part of our broader USAC awareness campaign, which, you know, is tied to our own success as the election board and be able to recruit candidates. So yeah, we'll definitely do our best to avoid that though.
I also just wanted to say too, there is not an active election going on right now. So like, and we are also elected representatives. We should be participating in any kind of awareness campaign that spreads awareness about our offices. So I don't think that can be seen as collusion, especially when there's nothing to really collude on as of right now. Like we're not working on an election code. So I don't think that those criticisms are like well founded. Okay. That's great. I also just wanted to point out to you, Palmer and Mariah, that my accessibility team is like focusing on making sure that USAC is branching out this year and like we're interacting. So I can connect you all with that team too, and we're more than willing to help publicize and to try to get people to show up.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah, just if you could send it to the elections board email, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Let me.
Yeah, so if you guys are good on questions, the last thing I feel like you guys seem like you're pretty positive about this and you're on board. So I think it would just be like, what is the best way to get in contact with all of your offices to like share steps going forward? Because I know that in the past we've had trouble specifically with just being able to get into contact with everyone and getting things done. So I don't know if there's like a way to like a better way to like network contacting all of you that isn't just coming to a meeting every week.
I would say our USAC email is probably the best way. We have Emily, can you drop it into the chat again, the USA Council email plus the GenRep 2? That's like a way where you can send one email and it goes to all of us here, and we can kind of like ping it and just like follow up on it with each other if you all send us something. But I would say that that's probably the best way. Yeah, and Justin won't get your email if you don't include that second email for some
Okay.
reason.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's all I had then. It's dope to see that you guys are hopefully enthusiastic about this. I am too. So hopefully we can make this happen and it will all be great and there will be a great turnout.
I wanted to ask real quick if there was any council members who foresee not being able to make it, or if they expect to send a representative. If anyone has any idea right now. Just curious. No, we're good? Okay, cool.
I was going to say, let me know if you want me to ask my internship director if we can use the All About USAC slides that he made, and maybe folks can just present about their own accomplishments outside of that, because I know everyone's capacity is pretty full right now.
Yeah, I think that'd definitely be the move. Especially I don't expect you guys to like go and make slides unless that's something you're like super passionate about. So I think that would probably be the best bet. And then I could just like edit those slightly and just throw in your extra slides if people wanted to do their own individual presentations. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Cool.
Beautiful. Thank you, Emily. Anyone else? Sachi, was that an old hand? Okay, cool. Okay, I think that we are good then. This event will probably be happening week 9 on Tuesday, either during or after, or during or before a meeting. Cool.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Okay. Moving on. we have appointments. We have Alyssa Moreno to the Campus Sustainability Committee. Take it away, Sachi.
Hello. So I'm happy to introduce Alyssa Moreno. Alyssa is a fourth-year human bio and society major with a minor in environmental systems and society. We were really impressed by Alyssa's experience as the co-director of the Sustainability Talk seminar, which facilitates dialogue about the accessibility behind sustainability movements. Alyssa is really passionate about creating safe spaces at UCLA to incorporate student voices and hold administration accountable into how UCLA carries out its actions that fit into the sustainability movement. So I'm very confident that Alyssa will serve us well on the Campus Sustainability Committee, and I'm excited to see her work this year.
Does anybody have any opposition to the appointment? Okay, if not, then Alyssa Moreno is appointed to the Campus Sustainability Committee. Thank you, Sachi. Okay, moving on to officer reports. Before I get into like the rest of my officer report, I actually wanted to use it as a space to possibly discuss something that came up, or not really something, but as you all know, and I think the Daily Bruin has already published an article about it, UCLA is partnering with the app that's going to be doing contact tracing that originated within UCSD and UCSF. They've already launched the app, and it's basically going to be a way to contact trace more efficiently and also faster too, because right now it's being done all by hand. So this app, I think, launched this week, I believe. I think it launched possibly yesterday. And I just wanted to bring it up and see what folks thought about it, because I do think that it's important that our offices either voice our concerns or voice our support for the app, given that it needs, I think you all had mentioned like a critical mass in order for it to actually be effective. So maybe Christina, I don't know if you want to also share a little bit about what you know. I can also share with you all some slides that were presented to me earlier. I like, but by no means am any kind of like expert on this, but I wanted to share it with you all just in case. Christina, do you want to share anything?
Oh, like now? I thought you meant like next week. I I don't know if I have anything to share right now.
That's okay. You could also share it next week. I could also show you all the app, or at least the presentation that I was told that we could share with you all. Okay. Actually, okay, it's actually not letting me pull it up. Oh, it is. Okay, great. I'm gonna share it with you all, but like I said, by no means do I actually know all about it. So it's called the California COVID Notify. It's a pilot program. So if you were to search this in the Android App Store, it actually wouldn't pop up because it's not fully developed yet. But this is basically the overview. We would be helping fight COVID through the phone. It's a new program that permits an individual who tests positive for COVID-19 to voluntarily notify close contacts quickly and anonymously that they may have been exposed to the virus. So basically what happens is you would go to the ASH Center, you would be tested, and you would also receive the PIN. And through that PIN, if you get a positive notification, you would submit the PIN and it would ping everyone who was around you for longer than 15 minutes. And from what I've been told, it uses Bluetooth waves, and it doesn't actually collect any of the keys that would be used to like track your location or anything. So it doesn't actually use like location services. It just uses like Bluetooth waves that transmit into the air or into the cyberspace. I don't know. But essentially, this is the pilot program that UCLA will be joining with Berkeley, Davis, Riverside, and Santa Barbara. And I also just wanted to point out that the app is developed by Apple and Google. And I also wanted to note too that I had asked about the other app that we were considering, Novid, and they let us know that while Novid sounded okay, there was privacy concerns there within Novid, and also they just pointed out that this app is already being used by the rest of the UC. It's also jointly used by like Apple and Google, so there's a lot more. They feel a lot more comfortable in what's in how it's been developed by Apple and Google than they do by like a private entity. And yeah, this is kind of, like I said, how it works. They talked about, I don't know if y'all want to read this. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can also send this presentation to, oh, you guys are trying to read it. Okay, hold on. Let me make it bigger. I'm so sorry.
Naomi, maybe download it and then open it as a PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can probably just present.
My apologies. But is this useful for you all? Are y'all like getting something from this? Okay.
Can you send it to my or can you add it to the drive folder for this meeting, please?
Yes, I will. Okay, I have it now. This might actually be better. Oh, it comes with the presentation. Or not. I'm sorry. Okay, it basically says Alice and Bob don't know each other but have a lengthy conversation sitting a few feet apart. Bob is positively diagnosed for COVID-19. He voluntarily enters a PIN provided by the public health case investigator, aka Ash, to verify that he is COVID-19 positive in the Public Health Authority app. The PIN is not associated with Bob or his PI P2. I'm not sure what that is. I'm so sorry. And data on Bob's phone. It is not shared with the Public Health Authority apps. And then their phones exchange, I guess I missed that part, where their phones exchange anonymous identifier beacons, which change frequency. And then a few days later, with Bob's consent, his phone uploads the last 14 days of keys for his broadcast beacons to the cloud. And remember, as I think that they had described before, the keys are temporarily stored for 14 days. And then after that, they are deleted. So yeah, from what I'm gathering, this is kind of where it is. Alice then receives her notification. The notification includes information about what to do next: quarantine, monitor symptoms, get tested, call public health. Alice's phone also, it says, periodically downloads the non-identifiable Bluetooth keys of everyone who has tested positive for COVID-19 in her region. A match is found with Bob's non-identifiable beacons. And then that is kind of where it stops. JP, the grad GSA president, and myself had also asked, like, how do we know that the keys are anonymous? And essentially, they would be given by Ash. So Ash gives like the PIN number. They don't actually release or attach any information to the PIN. That means that all of the information that would be linked to the PIN would be hidden behind the Ash kind of like med wall that they would have. So they've ensured us that, of course, and what I appreciated too about Kent Wada, who's the chief privacy officer for UCLA, let us know that even he would never like fully back an app, but he thinks that this is a strong app, and he thinks that this is like the best way to go, but also understands if we have reservations. I also let him know that it is very likely that students will see this as an extension of surveillance on UCLA's campus, but he has also said that this app, this app is not something that you would materially see the consequences of that kind of the surveillance state that we're experiencing today because of like what it uses. It uses Bluetooth and it doesn't like sell our information, like he had mentioned that Facebook does currently, and other sources. So I wanted to bring this up. I'm not going to go over like I guess I explained the key code process already, how to activate. If you start looking now, it hasn't been like, I haven't been able to do it. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's like issues that are still going on to get it launched, but I wanted to bring this up because, oh, PI equals personal information. Thank you, Josh. I wanted to bring this up just so that council was able to kind of talk about this and discuss whether or not there are additional concerns. I'm also going to be bringing this up to the CAB meeting tomorrow to get other students' concerns as well. But yeah, Elijah, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, so if someone tests positive and I guess you're in the radius, um, you'll be getting an email from Ash.
No, the app would notify you that you were around someone who had tested positive, but it would only notify you if you were around them for longer than 15 minutes.
So then it would be, I guess, up to you to go get tested and all of those things. It wouldn't be any intervention by the school itself.
Right.
Okay.
Sachi?
I know that with, when we got the NOVID presentation, they were talking about how kind of if someone a couple degrees away from you tests positive, then you'll know that it's kind of close to you. Will this app only notify you if you've personally been close to that person, or will it notify you if, say, your roommate has been within a couple of feet of someone that just tested positive?
It would only notify the first one that you said. It would only notify you if you were the person that had tested positive, which is, I would say, primarily the difference between the NOVID app and this one, which is something that Kent Wada had also mentioned too. NOVID tries to be predictive, and admittedly, this one is a lot more reactive. Christina?
Oh, so is this a situation that you get tested at ASH and you test positive and it automatically goes into the app, or do you voluntarily upload it?
You voluntarily upload it using the PIN that ASH gives you. Are there any more questions, or go ahead, Sachi.
Yeah, to go off of that, like, I guess in what form is the PIN distributed / will people even like really know what to do with the PIN when it's given?
I believe you have to consent. So I'm not sure if you all have been able to get tested when you go down to like the ASH Center or like wherever they're doing testing, but they usually ask you like, have you been through the testing protocols? And they usually give you like a rundown of how you're supposed to use the swab and everything. So I assume, I did not ask that, but I assume as of right now, we can inquire about that too, that they'll be letting you know how to like use the PIN and everything.
Got it. And can I ask one more question?
Yeah, for sure.
So I know that like you and I both tried kind of activating the app today and it didn't work. And the reason that I tried to do that was because we got like what I assume was a school-wide email saying like, ah, voila, like it's live, like go download it, go activate it. So I guess less of a question, more of a concern, like what is the marketing strategy / like, I guess, in what way is the university really going to notify students like it's working, it's ready, this is it, like please download it?
That's a great question. And I think that that's part of the reason why they wanted JP and I to gauge where students were with this, because they know that the app is really only useful if students use it, because we are the spreaders of this terrible thing. So I think they want us to essentially kind of get on board, which of course I'm not comfortable doing unless you all are comfortable doing, and I'm also not comfortable doing that unless I have like community support, which is why I feel like taking this to CAB is like the next logical step, because there are like impacted communities there too, who might be concerned about like any data information being leaked or whatever. So I think that that's like one way. I also am like mind blown that you said that it was presented or like emailed earlier, because I did not look at that email. So if I didn't look at the email, I'm concerned that no one else did. Did anyone else look at the email? Emily? Oh, you're saying yes, you looked at the email. Oh, okay, that's good. Anyone else have questions?
I wanted to say, I think getting like community support is kind of the next conversation to have. I would wonder if you would want any support on that, reaching out to CAB, and then maybe, I don't know, is the ask from administration to like endorse it? I don't know what that would even look like. I think, yeah, I don't know. What is the ask exactly?
I guess the ask is, I think they're asking us to endorse it, essentially. And of course, it could be cautiously, like I if I have to do a subsequent interview about this or something, which I assume we probably will, but I'm also comfortable with saying I like don't trust it completely, but I do think that this is something that has been tried in different universities, and it's like the way that we're going next to try to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Naomi, hi, it's Patty. I received an email too, and I was just reading it, and it said for iPhones you have to update to the latest iOS 14.2. So I'm trying to do that right now on my phone. So that may have been why you were unable to find it, because it doesn't seem like it's an app, and it's not like an iPhone app. It's in your settings, I think, once you update your phone, based on what I'm reading.
Yes, it's not an app. So I think I do have to update my phone.
I did. My phone is updated and it did not work.
Okay. Dang. So then I guess what we'll do then is just push this to CAB, see how folks feel about it. I don't see anyone saying no, so I'm gonna say it's like lukewarm support. Okay. And then what we can also do too, I don't know if folks are interested, but do you all want them to come and present next week? Or do you think like this presentation, this mini presentation was enough?
I personally would be interested in having them present when Jong is here, because I feel like he did an extensive amount of research into Novid, and I'd like to hear what he thinks about any of the possible shortcomings of this app.
Okay. Fernando, were you trying to...
It says exposure notification, but like there's no way to make it. It's right there. There's nowhere to see it.
It's down here under emergency SOS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect. I haven't turned it on though, so.
Let us know if you do. Okay, then. Yeah, I agree with you, Emily. I just don't know if Jong's gonna be here next week. But I guess that's something that we'll have to figure out. Okay. Well, I would say that that was kind of like the bulk of that conversation and something that has been coming up. And I guess moving on to the rest of my officer report, I guess just wanting to report that we are, of course, engaging in these conversations. As you all know, the cases within UCLA within the UCLA community are rising, and they are increasing at levels that they did not even increase at when the coronavirus was first discovered. So it's really concerning, and my team is looking into strategies to try to encourage students to stay indoors because, as you all know, the CDC has basically told us that it's the small gatherings that are causing the rapid spread. So I think that there is an opportunity here, and I also think that there's a slight responsibility on our end to think of how we can do that creatively. But yeah, we've been engaging in those meetings. I don't know if I was able to mention last week, but we met with the Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor Student Affairs Office, and EDI to talk about policing. Emily, did we report on that last week?
Wait, it was on Monday?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think I mentioned it, but I mentioned it the week before that we were going to meet with them.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to give an update to the public that we met with those two entities last Monday, in addition to the No UCPD Coalition and several other faculty members who have been really committed to doing work on policing. And that meeting went fairly well. We essentially restated our demands, let the administration know what we were going to be doing, and we let them know that we are continuing to ask for the Divest Invest Council that we originally asked for at the beginning of the summer or towards the middle of the summer. We also let them know that we will not be meeting with them again until they can commit to a Divest Invest Council. And towards the end of the meeting, Vice Chancellor Anna Spain Bradley let us know that she is open to discussing the process of creating a Divest Invest Council. So there still hasn't been any solid commitment to the council, but she is willing to talk about what we want that council to look like. Emily, would you say that that's accurate? Okay. So yeah, the No UCPD Coalition is also going to be releasing a letter detailing that meeting. So you all will have like full access to the meeting notes. Other than that, I think those are the main things that I wanted to update folks about. I have my meeting tomorrow with Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon, and we are going to be talking about CAE director and also possibly undocumented students. So yeah, that's it for this week. Emily?
Hi everyone. Okay, I'll try to make this quicker. So tomorrow at 5 p.m., my office is collaborating with the UCLA Labor Center Workers and Learners Project for the Workers and Learners 2020 Summit. I think it's going to be a great event. I've seen the agenda. We've done a couple run-throughs. I really recommend that y'all come and please promote it. I think that there's a lot for people to learn and build community. And my Drive Down Rent Committee is preparing a Spark campaign for the December launch of our fundraising campaign for our Rent Relief Award project. My Revamp Advocacy Partnerships and Outreach Committees held a workshop in collaboration with the Bruin Film Society to talk about navigating USAC funding for their organization, especially now in COVID times. And then a couple of institutionalized events updates. So on Thursday, the 19th from 6 to 7 p.m., our office is collaborating with the Transfer Student Representative's Office on an event called How to Ace Your Next Interview. Also recommend that y'all come out. And on Tuesday, the 24th, they will be having a Q&A interview event with administrators, Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon, and Dean Adriana Galvan. We are also back in talks with Steve from Rent College Pads about possibly meeting to talk about what our off-campus housing fair is going to look like in a virtual setting. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Aiden?
Sorry, I'm on my phone. So in the past week, since I spoke and gave my last update, a number of different developments on the state advocacy side. On last Thursday, I testified before the Assembly Higher Education Committee on key UCLA and system-wide student priorities relating to responding to COVID. Those priorities were investing in basic needs, mental health investments and resources for students, broadband access and the digital divide. And the fourth one I'm actually forgetting right now. It's been a long week, but another key priority. And then on the
Aiden, was it doubling the
university.
It's muted.
Not doubling the Pell. That's on the federal. Oh, that's right. Financial aid priorities, but state financial aid priorities related to Cal Grant modernization. Thank you, Naomi. On the university relations side, we're heading into a regents meeting this week starting tomorrow. I've been speaking to a number of regents and the UC president on key student priorities in the past few days leading up to the meeting. Those key priorities that we'll be watching tomorrow are an item on financial aid reform of the UC education finance model to open up a debt-free pathway for graduation through UC. That's something that students have been pushing for a number of years now, given the fact that debt burdens fall disproportionately on underrepresented students and students of color. Other key items are updates on the student experience of students with disabilities. I know that the Disability Student Union here at UCLA has been very active on the UCSA Ad Hoc Committee on Disability and in building out this item that will be presented before the regents, and then other updates on the experiences of transfer students and Indigenous students at UC. And then on Thursday, the regents will be approving the Special Committee on Basic Needs report, which will expand the definition of UC basic needs to encompass not just food and housing insecurity, but other basic needs and securities like childcare, transit access, broadband, etc. That'll be voted on Thursday. And then the UC budget, which governs a lot of the different programs that we benefit from here at UCLA, will be approved as well. And key line items that we push to have included in the UC budget are increased funding for recruitment and retention of students of color, and increased funding for mental health, preventative mental health, for building resilience and well-being, and then also lowering the student counselor ratio with direct mental health support for clinical counseling. Then looking forward beyond that, our office will be shutting down for Thanksgiving week. You can email me, but you'll get an out of office email, and we'll be back and up and running for our Double the Pell events and other events come week 9. But those are all of my updates.
Thank you, Aiden. And I also just wanted to note too, I have appointed Aiden to serve on the Regental Search Committee as like UC Council President's co-chair. Myself and my other co-chair appointed Aiden for that. And we're also working together to make sure that for President Drake's policing symposium that we are making sure it's reflective of scholars and students who are doing that work already. But I just felt like that would be a good thing to point out this week.
Yes, thank you so much, Naomi.
Yay, cool. Moving on to AC.
Hi everyone. So my officer's going to report is going to be fairly quickly. We had our Career Center workshop today in terms of making a 4-year plan. We hope to post that soon. And then we're going to have a sexual assault workshop on Thursday, I believe. And we posted about that as well. And then on like a lot of conversations regarding like how Berkeley was able to pass no pass to other departments. And given the fact that undergrad council a few weeks ago, they kind of individually just invited orgs, which I don't know, I kind of felt defeated the purpose because all these different orgs were invited and how are they all going to, because every like form of racism is very different and it doesn't really allow students to formally, I guess like I would have liked it better if each org was invited individually each week to come in and give like some sort of like, I guess their input. But we're going to kind of use this as like an opportunity since like pass no pass is going to be discussed this week to kind of garner together as like multiple organizations and AAC to bring forth like what we want to see pass and hopefully pass it through FEC. And yeah, so just a lot of work concerning that will be coming out of our office in the next couple of weeks. And you know, if you have filled out the survey, please fill it out and share it with your offices. And tomorrow when we release the letter, like if y'all could please sign on, really appreciate that. That's all from my office. Thank you so much, Naomi.
Thank you, Breeze. Elijah?
Yeah, I just had a few quick updates. Here in the Gen Rep 3 office, our special projects directors have been able to meet with leaders from across the country, from NYU, Virginia to Duke, and various other universities on their efforts in creating collaborative resource guides and networks within their universities, as well as we've been able to meet with the executives within the athletic department discussing how athletics can support different programs on campus, such as Swipe Out Hunger. We've also been in discussions about how we can increase retention within different teams within athletics. That's all for our office this week.
Thank you, Elijah. Did anyone else want to give an oral report? Okay. If not, moving on to admin reps. Jessica?
Wait, Naomi, could I give a quick report? I'm sorry.
I didn't see your hand.
Raise hand feature. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, I personally was really moved by a lot of the testimonies that were given today during public comment, and my office has always been engaged in this work. But I really encourage everyone else's office to continue to support GSU in their efforts. And I can kind of provide more insight. A lot of you already know Quinn, so you can feel free to reach out to Quinn. But this is an ongoing battle. Aiden knows that we've been working to attack it from the UC level as well. So in any way that you can support, please do reach out because we want this to be a collective effort.
Thank you, Sachi. Sorry, I missed your hand. Jessica?
No updates from me.
Thank you. Dr. Geller?
No updates for me either.
Thank you. Fernando?
I've got nothing today.
Thank you. Josh?
This is just a reminder that the CPO Thanksgiving box signup is open. So if there are any students that are in need, to make sure that they could sign up for a Thanksgiving box meal. So if you want to help spread that word, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And also just a reminder that that's a basic needs initiative. So we should definitely be doing or helping out and spreading the word. Awesome. And then Patty.
Hi, everyone. No updates for me tonight.
Thank you. And then I just wanted to give an opinion from Leela, who mentioned that she seconded our conversation about the app and said that it's a good idea and we would just need to get student input. And I think she also mentioned bringing it up to Res Life and housing. So maybe if we brought it up to OCHC, if they're still active this year. Josh, do you know if they are?
They are absolutely active, yes. And if anyone needs, I can connect if need be. Just shoot me an email and then I could connect you with the board.
Could you? Yeah, do that. I'll send you an email.
Yeah, absolutely, Naomi.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Emily. Oh, okay. Well, I think that Oh, okay. I see, Emily. Thank you for that. Other than that, there's nothing else on the agenda, so that means that we are concluding this meeting at 8:30 p.m.
The recording has stopped.
Congratulations, everyone.